Welcome to a special edition of Widener's Weather Wagers for the Super Bowl with Sam. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Couldn't be any better. The Birds are in the Super Bowl, second time in 5 years. I mean, what? How can't you have a KC sticker? It appears on a red. Listen, you can root
the
for
Phillies and the Chiefs are the same red, I think.
Oh, okay, all right. So you took a Philly shirt, put a KC over it.
Yeah, that's what we're going for this Sunday. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good game. First, I guess we can take a quick look back on the NFC Championship game. We had one bet there. I'll leave that to you. I was off for the weekend.
I can't wait for Andy Reid to let you down, by the way. So yes, let's put it up here. Eagles are too good. They made me lose. I took Dallas Goedert over 44.5 yards, and due to the factor they were killing the Niners, and they didn't want to take any risk because Brock Purdy was out and Ben Johnson was out, and then the whole game of it. Goddard 5 catches, like 25 yards in the first half, or 23, something like that.
I would have taken 5 catches in the first half any day.
Well on his way to winning the bet, and they didn't need him, so we lost. But that's all right. I'm still 14-9, positive record on the year. Mike 24-9, obviously, great record. Combine the show and Mike's tweets when, obviously you want to follow Mike because his tweets as well. He puts them out because, lines matter. So when they move, he'll send out a tweet before they move, or hopefully before they move, so you can get the best line. 38-18 overall with the juice factored in. We are, I believe, like it said, 38-18. We lost 1.7 units of juice. We had a 1 juice-free game, so that's minus 19.7, but plus the 38. So we're plus 18.3 units on the year, which is great. Hopefully we can continue this. Who knows? If you want, obviously, if you're watching the show, do this. Follow under Mike 626. Add the alerts, so as soon as he puts out a play, you will get a pop-up on your phone, and you'll see it. You can follow me if you'd like, at The Real SCAV. And finally, if you're watching this, just subscribe to the video, make comments, tell us we're terrible. That's fine. Widener's Weather Wagers on YouTube. So, that covers everything. Let's get to why we're here.
Super Bowl. Eagles Chiefs. Special guest. Who do we have, Sam?
There he is, Craig Snyder, a.k.a. Stewburtx8. Welcome to the show, Stu.
Super Bowl Stu.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. Stewburtx8 is his Twitter handle. It's at Stewburtx8. It's also his DFS handle. If you're a DFS player, back in the day, Stu used to
be good. In a random chat room, it was also Stewburt times 8, the local Reading Cafe.
Yeah, Stu. We've all dabbled here in DFS. It used to be, I think, more prevalent. Stu's played a lot less than he has in the past. I've played a lot less, but Stu used to be really good at it. We have him on the show. Let's talk a little bit. We have him on here. As you can see in the background, he has an Eagles flag. Unbiased opinions from Stu. I just have Penn State stuff in the background, so
I'm just
Miles Sanders.
Whatever. But no, it's no weather here for me, so I'm going to leave this to you two with some Super Bowl props.
All right, Stu, if you want to start with your first pick.
Sure. So my first pick, and obviously it's a Super Bowl. Everyone loves to look at all the props. The prop bets are the fun part of betting the Super Bowl, but and the list is very overwhelming sometimes, but I try to narrow it down to a few I really like. So we'll start with probably my favorite one, and that's the Chiefs to call the first timeout. And you can find this at BetMGM. Unfortunately, it's not in PA due to the weird PA laws, but pretty much anywhere else I assume BetMGM is, you probably can find it. So Chiefs first timeout is minus 115. And Sam, I think I texted this to you last week. I saw this. It was kind of a joke at first. Andy Reid is the old Eagles coach and 14 years. And we used to always joke about how he always would run out of timeouts, and we'd get to the end of the first half, end of the game, looking for timeouts, and we don't have any left. So it started kind of as that. But as I looked around and saw some numbers, the Chiefs have actually called timeout first in 15 of their 19 games this year, which is pretty significant. And the Eagles have only used the first timeout in 7 of their 19 games. So Andy Reid has always been kind of one to waste timeouts early. It doesn't get the play once, or just it doesn't get the play in fast enough. Time's running out. He tends to call timeouts, where Nick Sirianni, I feel like, is a lot more conservative. I feel like the Eagles will even take an early delay a game rather than waste a timeout early. So you're getting this essentially at a coin flip. I mean, minus 115. I think BetMGM had it at minus 115 on both sides. So essentially was a coin flip with the VIG. And really, based on the numbers and Reed's reputation, I really think this should be priced higher. I mean, I think there's good value on this, and it's probably my favorite prop that I've found so far.
Yeah, when you text me it, I was like completely on board. And obviously, like you said, watching the Eagles and knowing what Andy Reid does with timeouts, his philosophy, I guess, if you want to call it that, is just use them and don't worry about what happens. Worry about what happens later. Because I even you could win this on an Andy Reid failed challenge, which he's known to fail some challenges, and maybe challenge something early that's most people say maybe inconsequential. Don't waste a challenge or potential timeout. That would count if he loses the challenge. Just a lot of ways I feel like to win this one. He's kind of known. I remember when, it seemed like plays always would get in late to the quarterback, and they would trigger a timeout. So just feel like, yes, any prop bet could lose, but this at minus 115, like you said, feels like that's a real sound pick. So I like that one a lot too. Your next one involves the special teams game.
Yeah, so the next one is that the Chiefs will have the longest gross punt. So the longest punt throughout the whole game. So whichever team has the longest punt. And the reasoning here really is, I mean, the Chiefs punter, Tommy Townsend, he was second in the NFL in gross punt yards, averaged over 50 yards per punt. So he's one of the best punters in the NFL. And the Eagles side, we think Stewburtx8 is going to be the punter. He says he's good to go. They opened the 21-day practice window just recently. So we think Stewburtx8 is going to be the punter, but he had a pretty significant leg injury. I doubt he's fully 100%. And even so, on the season, I mean, his season average was 45 yards per punt. So you are laying some vig here. The Chiefs' longest punt is minus 155 on DraftKings. But just based on Townsend being the better punter and Stewburtx8, obviously with the leg injury, and if Stewburtx8 doesn't go, you got Kern, who is even worse. And we average like 40 yards a punt. And so I think there's just really good value here. I really think Townsend, based on all the factors, should be even a bigger favorite here to have the longest punt. So
a lot of ways I feel like, again, to win this one, key to point out on this is that this is the longest gross punt of the game. So basically they're going to compare the Chiefs' longest gross punt to the Eagles' longest gross punt. So even, if Townsend doesn't hit one, great. If he punts 3 or 4 times, his ceiling, we believe, and it is most likely much higher than whoever the Eagles throw out there as their punter. I was looking for ways to get action against the Eagles punter, looking a few different avenues. This is probably the best way to do it, and the safest. And you're not laying crazy amount of juice, minus 155. So I do like that one. I wanted to point out, I said earlier, if you looked at this one slide, I put STU, Stu, and then they see Stu's screen name is STEW, Stewburtx8. So Stu, what we've all, I think, spelled your name STU, even though we know your handle on most things is Stewburtx8, STEW. What was the thought? How did we get to STU from STEW?
Yeah, so STU is how I spell it. I mean, technically, but STEWBURTX8 was just kind of a handle I picked back from the old AIM days. So you're talking, I'll age myself here, but what, 26 years ago, we were 14 or 15 years
14,
old.
15,
So,
Yeah.
So I don't know what my 14, 15-year-old mind was thinking. Just have something different. Wasn't just my name. Eight's my favorite number. So it just, and it kind of stuck, and I've used it as my DraftKings and FanDuel and DFS names throughout forever. So it's just,
Yeah. No, I'm same way. It's AOL, AIM. I was Dave Fulch, and I've kept that and everything. And I was the same thing, like 13, 14-year-old me. I picked it was a football player on Tecmo's Super Bowl. And it was a long story with another friend and the way he said his name. But David Fulcher, former Pro Bowl safety for the Bengals, is my name. And for a period of time as a teenager, I impersonated him on AOL, probably illegally. And that's how so I feel like, and I'm getting off on a tangent here, but it's something interesting like that today's generation, these kids today, the AIM handle or AOL handle, I guess they probably now have like their Xbox handle. Maybe they'll keep that for 25 years. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where like you were a kid, you came up with something, and some of us just keep it.
I remember my first time on AIM, actually. I mean, I don't know I was probably 14, whatever it was. And I was talking to Paulie, and I was just saying stupid shit. And he wrote back LOL. And I thought he was saying like O. I thought it was like a box with an O. And I thought it was being like stupid, sarcastic Paulie, like O. And I'm like getting so pissed off. And here he was actually laughing at me. I'm like,
Steve Pauly is a friend. He's not been on this show, but he's been on Mike's other show, Winer's Whiskey Tasting, on Wednesdays. Now it's not actually called that, but so let's get back to another pick here from Stu. He had the Chiefs first time out. He likes the Chiefs' longest gross punt. We already know he likes the Birds to win, although I don't know if he likes that betting wise. The next one he's got here, and this is another one I really like. It's based on fourth downs.
Yeah, so the next one's that the total fourth down conversions in the game by both teams will be over 1.5. And there is VIG here. It's minus 165. But I think that obviously it's a big game. It's a Super Bowl. So I think teams are more likely, it's a close game, more likely to go for it. But the Eagles in particular this year, in the regular season, they went for it on fourth down 32 times in 17 games, converted 22 of them. So Eagles averaged over one themselves fourth down conversion per game. And the NFC Championship game, the Eagles actually went for it on fourth down 3 times, converted all 3 of them. The Eagles just are very aggressive in fourth down, especially 4th and 1, because Jalen Hurts gets under center and they put 2 guys behind him to push him. And it's really almost an unstoppable play. I think they've been stopped on it that I can recall like once this year. So I think 4th and 1, I mean, the Eagles could have 4th and 1 early in the game from their own 30, and I think they might go for it. So I think there's opportunities there for the Eagles to go over this 1.5 themselves. And then you got the Chiefs. I mean, they're a little more conservative, but it's a big game. They do have Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs only went for it on fourth down 12 times, but they did convert 9. So I think if either team gets on the other side of the 50, gets 4th and 5 or less, likely to go for it. Eagles getting 4th and 1 from anywhere, they're probably going to go for it. So I think there's a lot of opportunities. Plus, late in the game, one team could be behind and forced to go for it on fourth down. You could get 2 fourth down conversions in the last drive of the game even. So I think there's a lot of ways to get there, and I think there's likely going to be 3, 4, maybe more fourth down opportunities in the game. So
I like what I'm hearing there, and I'm going to have a similar play coming up, and that's actually going to be on part 2 of the Under Mike show here for the Super Bowl. So we're gonna end it here, part 1, and we hope you join us for the rest of Stu's picks and then some of my picks as well.